Hi, I'm Lisa Leiter. We're here at the Crain's Manufacturer Summit, where local industry leaders are talking about how to build a 21st century manufacturing economy. This morning's keynote speaker, Scott Garberding, Senior Vice President of Manufacturing at Chrysler. He sat down with me after his presentation to talk more about Chrysler's local presence and the company's reshoring efforts. So Scott, Chrysler has added a third shift at Belvidere, as you mentioned during your presentation, added 1,800 jobs, invested hundreds of millions of dollars in that plant. What types of future efforts can we see there? Will there be more expansion, more jobs added, any other changes that are coming in the short term that we can expect?
We added the Dodge Dart to the plant. We added a very flexible manufacturing system, which will allow us to produce other similar cars that are built on that architecture. So many of the cars that we will launch in the next couple of years could also be produced at Belvidere, or variants of those vehicles. So we set the plant up in a very flexible way, and we hope to utilize it very highly in the future.
There's been a lot of debate about reshoring, people talking about it in theory, but in practice, many people ask, is this really happening? What evidence can you point to that Chrysler has that they've reshored, and how has it impacted your manufacturing process? There
was a time in the past where we were buying a lot of stamping dies from Asia, and the premise behind that was cost savings on the specific dies. We've moved most of that back onshore for lead time reasons, because we can take time out of our development cycle by doing the dies ourselves, and we have some very specific methods for design and construction that we can manage here. So we found that's a better economic premise for us than what was sort of the cost savings programs in the past. Also, as we restructured, along with the UAW, our labor costs, we found that a number of components that we thought couldn't be produced economically inside the company now can. And that has caused us to move a lot of work in-house, some of it from local suppliers, but some of it from offshore. Third factor, logistics costs as a portion of the total cost of some parts have come up. So there's some components that were economical to buy in Asia, say a few years ago, and really they're a break even with North American manufacturing today.
Mexico has certainly benefited a lot from the reshoring. You make your Fiat 500 there, is that right? And you export it all over the world. Do U.S. parts suppliers benefit from Mexico doing all of that auto manufacturing now? Is that another way that we're seeing reshoring benefiting our local manufacturers right here in Chicago area?
Well, absolutely. It's important to remember that many of the component manufacturing companies that we do business with in Mexico are subsidiaries of U.S. companies, so that's a natural relationship. There are components, engines being is an example, that we ship that engine from Dundee, Michigan to Toluca, Mexico. So there are U.S. source components that go into the engine, and then of course the engine itself is made in the U.S. So it's a mix, and components flow both directions, in fact.